Hey guys, we're here with Bernardo. He got second place at the Paisley Regional. What did you play, Bernardo?
I played Voiceless Voice that just came out in Fandom Nightmare.
Cool, and how did you do?
I ended up 6-1. My matchups were 4 Viking, Snake Eyes, 1 Kashtira, 1 Labyrinth, and 1 Pearly. My loss was to Viking Snake Eyes. It was honestly my fault, but I beat all of them, all the other ones, and I lost the dice roll against all of them as well. But the deck ran really well. I didn't have as much practice with it as I could because obviously it's new, but I think it has a lot of potential in this format.
Yeah.
And to start with, I played obviously 3-low. Not much to explain there. I chose to play the Diviner package over the D7 package. I might still try the D7 package at some point, but I feel like Diviner is just stronger and more versatile. Tries being a body and then giving you access to stuff like Chaos Angel. And the fact that you can Sorrovis protect this as well, so he baits a lot of stuff. I don't know, it serves really well for me, being another copy of low. Maybe I'll try the D7, but I don't want to just lose to draw here. So then 3 Saphira, pretty standard for that. 1 of the Old Man, and then 2 of the Skull Guardian and 2 Sorrovis. I didn't choose to play the Odd Eyes Pendulum Graph. I felt like every time you need to summon him, you have to hard summon him, so you have to go into some greedy alliance to make it. And I'd rather kind of end on just a regular setup rather than go, into greedy alliance and like lose to Ash or Draw or whatever just to summon Pendulum Graph. And I don't think he's strong enough either, as opposed to just ending on a Skull Garden like a Sorrovis or just a Skull Garden and follow up. For the spells, 3 barrier, just searches. The protection effect is crazy. Then 2 the spell floating is also crazy. And then the trap was honestly one of the MVPs of the day. People kind of over focus on like the pop effect, but the first effect is crazy to recycle a lot of stuff from your grave, especially like prayers, and get you the this guy from the deck, and then this guy just becomes anything you really want. There was a game I got shifted, for example, and I just summoned low. I set up the trap. I had a ritual spell in hand. I shuffled it back. I summoned Sorrovis, and then that turn I activated card. I just summoned Skull, and boom, I had Skull low and Radiance with a pop life as well through shift, which you couldn't play through. And in other matchups, it just gives you so much grind and so much stickiness that it's already hard to out this deck when you kind of set up the barrier Skull low. But if you have the trap as well, recycling all your stuff and doing it again, it's just so hard to out. And then eventually you just use the pop effect when you have to, but I usually try not to use that effect. And then next set it becomes so much better when the new continuous spell can recycle this, because that's crazy. Then for the non-engine, which this format you have to play a lot of non-engine. I just play 3 Ash, 3 Droll, 3 Nib, and 3 Impum. These 3 perform really well, especially Nib. Nib overperforms, honestly. It's just, for people to break this deck board, they just have to play into Nib every time. And Nib paired up with any hand trap, it's just really good. Draw was kind of iffy, especially when it came to like the Viking matchup, because it doesn't do enough against the Snake Eyes Ash. They can still do the full combo pretty much. But it was still okay, and it's like decent paired up with any of these. And it's good against other matchups as well. Like it was good against Purely, for example, and even against Kashtira. Maybe I would swap this for 3 Veilers or even like Super Poly. I would give it a try. But the 12 hand traps was good. I kind of wanted to fit more hand traps, but I really didn't want to go over 40. Like the deck is consistent, but some hands can be clunky, so I don't want to like mess that up. And then for other cards like consistency cards, 3 Pros, 3 pre-prep, and I guess another non-engine call by. I like the Prosp, it just gives you the card you need. Extra, it gives you 2 cards here, but you have to do it at the start of your turn. Prosp, if I have combo, I can just combo. If they stop me, I Prosp for the card I need to keep going, or I just Prosp at the end to grab a hand trap. And pre-prep is absolutely crazy. If you open this card, you're just so far ahead. And then call by, I think, is mandatory in this format because it just stops so much going first against hand traps, and it stops so much going second as well against fire decks, and just any deck that sets up in grave, which is everything at this point. Then for extra deck, this deck doesn't really utilize the extra deck that much, but there's still a lot of like niche things you can do with it. So these are the Super Poly targets. I do side Super Poly. This is for like the Heat Soul / Humble Away plus IP boards. It didn't come up, but you know, it's there. I didn't play the other targets like the Dragon Knight and stuff because I didn't have them, and honestly I'm not really respecting Vanadium. I'm already making draw, so I was kind of okay with it. Then Entus and Herald, these are for Diviner targets. That didn't really come up. I usually just send Trias, it's always better, but it's, in case you draw Trias and the Diviner, then this come up. Chaos Angel, this is also for the Trias setup, so you summon Trias, and then Diviner summons the low, and then you can make Chaos Angel with the Trias and the low. It actually came up like 3 times. It's just really strong. Like, it basically, if you have another low access, you just do this and it just banishes something, and then he trades with something as well in the battle, and he has a level, and like you know, if you link it off, so you can even use Saphira as a tribute if you need to for the ritual summon. Yeah, Chaos Angel was actually surprisingly good. It came up a lot. Typhon's alright, but you usually don't really do it because the highest attack bonus will always be Skull Guardian. You'd rather have that than this. It only comes up in situations where like your low gets stopped and then you make it on top of low, but it's usually not enough in this format. But you still kind of have to play it. You know, it's good against like Brand and Vanadium, whatever. And for links, I played Anima and Link Karibo for link ones. Anima comes up a lot, especially with like nib tokens and stuff. Link Karibo is okay. It's just there to kind of climb into the Charmers. They actually only Dark came up. Liner was more for like the mirror. I don't know if I'll play going forward. I was playing Celine before when I took it out because it never really came up, but they're alright. Like Dark comes up a lot because you can just make it with a low, just becomes Animal Link Karibo. I've even normal summon Droll to make a Link Karibo, so it comes up. And then SP, you also can steal other people's SP with this. SP obviously comes up because you can just make it with the banish effect so often. 2 Dynamondos, this card is actually crazy. I think I usually try not to go for this unless my hand is like not strong enough and I need the trap setup, because obviously it loses to a lot of things. I did get called by once, top deck called by at the event, but Dynamondo is just really strong, especially because it helps you recycle your stuff as well, because you just like going second, you make it, you shuffle something with its effect, and you shuffle back to your deck, so you recycle it, and then your board comes back just on the opponent's turn. You just summon the Skull Guard and low comes back, sets another one. So I think it's really strong, and I think you kind of need to, because if you use one turn 1, you still want the second one for turn 3. And then I should play Access. This was for like help kill, but I've realized the deck can kill quite easily without it, and it was also to like board clear, which the deck sometimes struggle if there's like too many things on the board, but I found Access to be quite hard to access mainly because there was just a lot of games that Dark and Liner didn't really do anything, so like climbing into a Link 4 was kind of hard, but you don't really need it. Like, you have a 41 attack beater. And for side deck, I think side deck is one of the things I would definitely change and improve for like as the format goes forward, but I'll still explain the choices. Played 3 Bell, this is mainly for lab matchup. Lab matchup can be really hard, because if they set up before you set up, it's just really hard to get through it, because you're not protected by the targeting until you've set up, so they can abuse it very hard. It's also good in the mirror, like you can bell pre-prep, you can bell Saphira, obviously you can bell the low, you can just chain block it, and it's just good against random stuff like Brandon or whatever, so I think I'll always play bell just as a safety. Then I chose play 3 Super Volley and 3 Sorrelees. These were for the Super Volley, kind of covers a lot of matches, but this is more for Viking deck. I think they pair really well with another hand trap, and Super Volley especially is really good in like simplified game states where like they end on like a really half board and you kind of have a board as well, and then you like Super Volley, and then you like start link climbing and stuff. The Super Volley was really strong. Sorrelees, it just helps get rid of the Viking package. You can outgrind the Snake Eyes deck, but you cannot outgrind the Viking deck. So if you get rid of the Viking stuff in their grave and the Princess, you'll manage to outgrind the Snake Eyes portion of the deck. I only saw it twice during the day, and both times my opponent didn't really. The first time they didn't do anything because I hand trapped, and then the second time they had all the fighting stuff on the board, not on the grave. So I don't know if I'll still keep playing it going forward. I think it'll depend how the fight deck develops and what kind of end boards people end on. But Super Poly was quite strong. If anything, I think I'll play more targets for this, so it's a bit more versatile in the matchups. But it's just good because the deck does struggle a little bit with board clearing. So then for back row matchups, just Harpies and Cyclone. I thought about playing Storm, but Cyclone is good going first as well. Yeah, I don't know how much to explain this, just back row. And then I chose to play, for going first, Summon Limits. I only saw it once, obviously just instant won me the game because I had the setup and Summon Limit. I also got Summon Limited, someone decided Summon Limit against me, and then yeah, I've just played better under Summon Limit than Purely does, surprisingly. Yeah, just this is a deck that sets up to Omni, so you have to play Floodgate, I think, for going first, because you have an Omni and you have a Floodgate that's so hard to out, and I think especially against like the fire decks, you have to play something that's unfair to keep the matchup fair, because you know they side stuff against you, so you probably won't end on the best board, but if you end on like even just the Skull Guardian and this, it's so hard out. And yeah, that was the deck. I'll change some stuff in the side deck as it goes forward. I wasn't really happy with my siding patterns. I didn't really know what to side out half the times, but I think the deck has a lot of potential. I was quite surprised how it performed. When I tested it, it kind of folded to one Ash or one Impem sometimes, but there's a lot of hands you can play around it. Like pre-prep, you just art Saravis, for example, and then you can play around Impem. A lot of heavy engine hands can actually play through disruptions by the way you just sequences them. As far as like the fire deck matchup goes, I think it's still not great, but going first, it's really hard for them to play into it. And again, you play all these non-engines, so you'll see some of them, and at that point, you actually outgrind them a lot better in simplified game states. Yeah, the deck ran really well. I was really happy. I didn't get to test it too much before the regional, but I think I'll keep playing it going forward. And I can't wait for the next support as well. I think that will make the deck much better, especially as far as like grinding goes. Because sometimes I felt like I had both ritual spells in the grave as well, and I couldn't really, like get it back if I used the trap. So next set that doesn't happen. But yeah, thank you for my dad for getting this on his website, on his YouTube, and thanks to everyone that came to the regional with me as well and helped me test and helped me kind of theorize the deck. I just took a lot of inspiration from OTG because obviously no one has talked with this before, so it's very standard in that sense. But yeah, thank you.